What I'd like you to do is put your hands together for all of these good people.
Knock it off! Welcome to my forum, where ideas are picked apart ravenously by hungry minds, where all points of view are subject to what is known as an intellectual equivalent of mud t-shirt wet contests. That was wrecked, but so's Mensa. Let's get this thing started. Tonight, pornography. Is it or is it not ruining sex? Thank you. You clearly think it isn't. Well, anyway, for the affirmative. On my right, on your left, a group of perverts. People who watch Debbie Does Dallas for the story of an up-and-coming co-ed cheerleader who wants to make it big in the city. Nadine Clark, who the hell are you? Danny Stinson, Alan Driscoll, and their captain, Ethan Addy. People who think that Doris Day's a whore. I present to you the negative. Mr. Doug Gordon, Timothy Clark, Mitch Alexander, and their team captain, Morgan Smith. I give you the negative. Now, a good, clean, wholesome fight, no eye gouging and no blow below the waist, unless it's funny. All right, let's start this thing off. For the affirmative, I give you Miss Nadine Clark.
So, good evening everybody, we're for the affirmative, and pornography is ruining sex. Hands down, exactly. Not in your pants. You can all see them. By pornography, we mean the explicit representation of sexual orgasms or organs and other such activity. By sex, we mean people going for it, all bets off, pounding on top, on bottom, upside down, in the mouth, up the arse, froggy, Kama Sutra, passionate, pity, marriage. Now, I like gargling cum in my mouth as much as the next girl.
Just don't want big.
I'm not prudish about porn. In fact, I used to wear a t-shirt that said I was a porn star. And, you know, if I had the physical attributes, I mean, I got the tits, but not really much else, I would be a porn star. However, I would know in my heart of hearts that somewhere out there, even though I was making mega bucks and that would be cool, I was ruining sex for everybody. Because pornography is a representation. It is not real. How can we go with this representation that is so over the top? Like, this is the thing. Pornography brings up for people this expectation, and we all know that expectations are the mother of disappointment. Yeah, isn't that something we all had to wake up to today? All our expectations. Anyway, what did I going to say? Look, I've told this story before, you've probably heard it. I went on this date, right, with this dude who reckoned he had a small dick. And I was like, oh, fuck, you poor thing. Anyway, went out for dinner and went home, had a brew. And it turns out he's hung like a donkey. And I'm like having to have sex with someone who's got a lethal weapon walking around in their pants, you know? And I'm like, okay, so what's wrong with this dude? He's watched too much pornography. The poor thing, rather than knowing, I'm actually Mr. Massive, he thinks he's like got a, you know, no dick at all, and he's going around with a complex, picking up fat chicks in internet dating sites. He could have been going for gold. Anyway, look, sorry, I've made notes. Look, men who watch a lot of porn think they have to compete with Buffalo Bill, the purple-headed yogurt slinger when their hot rod is working just fine. Why do you think soft serves are on the increase? Think of the pressure they unwittingly put upon themselves just because they slap the salami whilst watching porn before they go on a date. These men don't realise that the more they watch porn, their expectations of bodies rise. Women who had a D cup, this is an F by the way, but if they had a D cup, that would have been, you know, satisfactory. Not anymore, not when you've watched too much porn. Now everyone's expecting a bit of a G cup, yeah? And not only that, You think she thinks someone with a decap thinks she's fat, flat Fiona. Someone who doesn't trim their map, all of a sudden, they're a 70s wonder child. We all think, all us girls think we have to go over to Thailand just to look like Michael. I don't think so. I'd be happy to look like Ice-T's wife, and I'd be happy to fuck Ice-T, hands down. But it doesn't say that pornography is still ruining sex. The other thing about watching it is these ridiculous expectations that, you know, makes people think that it's just casual to say, can I come on your face? Before you've even got your dick in. You know, like double dipping, fisting, finger cupping, golden showers, and now the expectation. Guys used to think it was good if they got their dick sucked. And this isn't just for guys or girls or, you know, it's for everyone. Everyone is driven by these expectations, and we shouldn't have to do it. These obnoxious expectations are ruining sex, and that is the reason why pornography is ruining sex.
I may have forgotten to mention we'll be tackling adult subjects this evening. And if you're not going to be an adult about it, there's the door. I don't want to see you. And thanks to the light, I can't. So let's go on. First speaker for the negative, I give you the captain of the negative, Miss Morven Smith.
Woo!
Hello. I'm going to take that out of there because I'm too short. We're the negative, and isn't this a big debate? 4 people per side. You could almost say it's a mass debate. So thank you for coming to the debate, positive team. It was nice of you to turn up. We all know you probably shouldn't have bothered because pornography is not ruining sex. It's not. Like, really, it's not. If your sex life is ruined, I hate to break it to you, but it's not porn ruining it. It's just you. And as Avenue Q tells us, the internet is for porn, but the internet is also a great tool, and so is Ethan Addy.
Calm down!
Bringing dead jokes back, yes. But the internet is an amazing place where people can share ideas and experiences, interact with people from other countries and cultures, and just generally get their freak on. The sharing of experience broadens our minds. We all love to try new things, and the internet is a mine of information about great new experiences, but it's also for porn. And porn is not ruining sex, as the small-minded positive team would have you believe. If not, if anything, it's improving sex. Sex benefits from porn. It's like advertising for sex. But look at it this way. If they stopped advertising Vegemite, no one would eat it. It's weird, it's sticky and salty. Just like sex. So we need porn to remind us why sex is a good thing. Porn shows us all the fun stuff we can do with 2 girls in a cup. Porn helps us learn new ways to have sex. I mean, honestly, who would have thought that anyone would willingly have sex with Ron Jeremy? I mean, it's amazing the things it can teach us. If we listen to church, you know, we'd all be doing it missionary with the lights off, through a sheet, praying for a boy child and thinking of England. That gets old really fast. Believe me, I've been married. And how many marriages has porn saved? Just think about it. You're pounding away and it's all just become a little bit boring, a little bit samey. So you need something to spice it up a bit. What do? Well, you could go down to the local over 28s night and pick up a cheeky redhead or 2. Just saying. Or you could jump on the internet and check out a few new ways to tickle your partner's lady garden or man garden. I'm not really sure. Is it called a man garden? I don't know, it should be. It's fairly moist. No, stop it. Yes, I know which one I'd rather be doing anyway, because I'm like really lazy. Like, this body was built for cheese, not speed. So you jump on the internet, you scroll through a few thousand images of pliant flesh, and all the fizz comes back. You know, you grab your partner and bump uglies until the proverbial bovines return to the domestic abode. Porn is not ruining sex, it's keeping sex alive. We humans are fickle creatures, easily distracted by shiny things. So we need to be reminded how to do things. And we need constant stimulation. That's what porn is for. We'd forget all about sex if we weren't reminded how it worked. Thank God for porn. I mean, how would we continue as a species if we weren't reminded to fuck every so often? I really love learning new things. Everybody loves learning new things, you know, like how to cook authentic American barbecue or how to do the Charleston. And that's what porn can teach us. Not the Charleston, although I'm sure there is Charleston porn. That's not really what I meant. I mean, who knew you could have sex in a tree with your leg tied to your left ear whilst yodeling the Swiss national anthem? Who would want to? But these are things we can learn from porn. I mean, porn is the fantasy and sex is the reality. We aspire to the fantasy which makes our reality better. Porn is all Meg Ryan and When Harry Met Sally, while sex is a lot more, oh no, that's lovely. Thank you, you're doing a great job. Sorry, what was that? Oh, no, I don't know. I'll get it during my lunch break tomorrow. Oh, sorry, I thought you said, can you get some mace? No, can I? Oh. It's fine. It's gone home my contact lens. I'm just going to wash it out. But basically, what I'm saying is that sex is a minefield of awkward noises, inconvenient leg cramps and strange smells. Whilst porn gives us all the good bits without the messy bits. You know, it lets us see what it's supposed to look like so we can practice till we get it right. Saying that porn is ruining sex is like saying that instructional building videos are ruining DIY. Porn is helping us be better at sex. It's like a how-to video for Rumpy Pumpy. Just wanted to use the word Rumpy Pumpy. But, it's a community service designed to teach us how to be the very best shaggers we can possibly be. And if the Olympics has taught us anything, it's that Australians never come first. Porn is not ruining sex. If anything, sex is ruining porn. I've lost count of the number of times, you know, sat down, nice little bit of you-porn on the laptop, only to be interrupted by the old, hey honey, this video is making me horny. But porn is not ruining sex. It's making it better by showing us how the professionals do it. If porn was so bad, why would 50 Shades of Grey be a bestseller? And just to finish off, porn is a metaphor for life. Winners come first and losers are left with a dick in their hands. Thank
you. I'll scrub, but they'll never make water hot enough. I must admit, from my own personal experience, I think overexposure will determine this. I remember my first sexual experience. I was cold, I was alone. And at a Myers catalogue, nowadays, children can just go on myer.com.au and flip to the lingerie section, in the privacy of their own homes. And we're going to train crash that into the next speaker. Try to come back from that one, buddy. For the affirmative, I give you Danny Stinson!
Well, thank you very much. We've heard some convincing arguments so far, some very smutty arguments, but what else would you expect from a team with a captain that has had more fingers in her than a bowling ball? Apologies later. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all very well the lies and propaganda you are going to hear put forward by this team of visual sex mongers. It is nothing more than a simple trick and deceit. It is no more than the type of misdirection used by people who wear glasses to try and make you think they're more intellectual or smarter than they are. Now, as to my argument. This isn't going to work, I can't see it. Yes, as to my argument. I might point out that unlike these ocular smut peddlers, my team is so dedicated to you, dear audience, that we have forced ourselves to watch a great deal of pornography and attend 3 separate orgies in preparation for this debate. And As I emerged from one of these self-imposed fortresses of filth, with my dignity in tatters, and little more than 200 mils in what had previously been a 200 ml bottle of Gatorade, I looked at the various phone messages from my wife and concluded that pornography had indeed personally ruined my sex life for what is fast approaching 6 weeks. But how is pornography affecting your sex life? I mean, these corneal filth promoters would have you believe that pornography has entertained you, has enhanced your sex life and opened your eyes to new and wondrous experiences. But how, I ask you, can you be expected to simply lie vigorously on top of another person like a disaffected planker? When I know that somewhere on the internet, a Latino man is getting wanked off by 2 women while smearing excrement on the lip of a third. And 2 German men are violating the exit cavities of an unimpressed British woman. The existence of more, the possibility is a poisonous dream that you don't need in your lives. The world is filled with enough pressure to perform. Let us leave pornography as an amusing medium reserved for text messages on a Friday afternoon conveying such classic messages as, "It's the weekend, get a dick up here." Let us all tonight make a conscious effort to return to a simpler time when pornography did not take up all our internet downloads. That's a bad example. A simpler time when we left our doors unlocked and licorice was considered a sweet. Disgusting. And, I mean, look, a simpler time when I didn't spend my afternoons thinking, oh, how long is it till my wife gets home? 2 hours, oh, not enough time to trail the internet for the latest pornography and bust one out. I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. We all shouldn't have to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, pornography is ruining sex. Thank you.
I've got nothing. So therefore I will give you the next speaker for the negative. If I can get this right, we'll all be happy. 1, 2, Mr. Doug Gordon.
Thank you very much. Is this working? Yeah, it doesn't seem very loud.
It is.
It is. Good start. Hey, yeah. So this is a debate. I thought this was going to be called 2 Teams, 1 Cup, but I'm not sure. No team is. It's interesting getting stand-up comedians to do this. You know, I've got about 160 gigs under my belt, and that doesn't include the porn on my computer. Yeah. I've spent countless hours researching material for this debate. I just said debate. That's like debate and event at once. Inventing words, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, thank you, Angelo, for all the research material. I'll get back to you once I clean it up. So yeah, I think I should share a few things with you. Both Ethan, Addy and I have been smoking ice for the past 3 or 4 days before the event. And,
He's the bottom.
What does a bottom mean?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, I had a bit of trouble sitting down that stool, to be honest. Not as much trouble as I have with Ethan's stool, as you'll find out. Yeah. You're talking about swallowing cum, and I'm all of a sudden gross. Like, that's so much better. But we are across the road from Commission Flats, so anything goes. So yeah, I think the point is about how much we were smoking ice. None of the porn that we had watched had any effect on the marathon-style jail sex that we had for hours after that. So I think that's a pretty good point that porn doesn't ruin sex. Yeah, porn doesn't ruin sex. I mean, it's not like it's going to make me objectify women. It's not like I'm going to wear like t-shirts with like scantily clad chicks on them. Or anything like that. I don't know if you can all see that. It's a t-shirt joke. Yeah, I was watching this team of, well, for lack of a better term, sex offenders. During their first little speech or whatever they were doing, I was just watching Ethan Addy, and you can tell he was thinking about porn, but his own way. He's like, yeah. And Alan Driscoll was also thinking about porn, but he's very much more focused. is good. It's good to see. Yeah, you know, like I was saying, yeah, porn doesn't ruin sex, and nor does it ruin fast food, because I can still go to Red Rooster and take a bite of a strip sub and not think like it's like some big cum shot in my mouth. It's just, what, you all gasping at that? Seriously, it's going to get a lot worse if you don't like it. And that's just my act, I suppose. You can call this an act. It's quite real. You know, if I haven't lost you all already, I'm going to lose you right now with this absolute filth I've written down here, so I thought it'd be in the mood of the evening. So yeah, I've been having sex before with a girl. I know it's hard to believe. You know, well, I didn't really like her that much. I'm not sure why I wrote that. Actually quite cruel now that I read it. Yeah, anyway, so mid-sex, you know, I don't know how to say this without being crass. She said, do you want to put it in my ass like they do in the pornos? And I said, nah, I'm good. And like, you know, I think that like, that doesn't really have a point to it, but that wouldn't have happened without, you know, pornography. So that's my point. But yeah, that's me, that's my time. Thank you very much.
And remember to vote for Doug in the election. Our next speaker for the affirmative is a very focused man. Please welcome Alan Driscoll.
That was supposed to convince us that porn was a good thing.
No, I don't know what I'm doing here. I missed it on stage.
Thanks. I appreciate you lowering the standards.
Serious debate.
The thing is, porn is good in theory. The idea of porn is good, you know? If we didn't have porn and someone said, hey, what if we had videos of sex that we can masturbate to? That'd be great. But there's too much of it now. Like, there's infinite porn at our fingertip. Like, I was born in the early 80s, so our family got the internet in about 96. So I had about 4 to 5 months of normal sexual development before pornography came along. It was rationed, you know? It was like, you type in tits on your computer and, you know, 2 to 3 hours later you had a picture of some tits. You couldn't go overboard. Now it's just infinite broadband porn. It's all free too, nobody pays for it. Now you've got all the YouPorn type sites. And you know that old cliche, like your dad catches you smoking and he locks you in your room with like 200 cigarettes and goes, right, I'm going to come out to you smoke all of them. Now it's like, oh, you like porn, do you? Right. Here's 10 billion porn videos. Then go to your room and don't come out until you've masturbated to all of them. I don't know what turns me on anymore. 10 years ago, I didn't know what the word edging meant. I guess there's some people that still don't, still have their innocence intact. That's when you're sitting there for 6 hours kind of masturbating your semi-erect penis. You just can't decide on what one to come to. Anything between... All the porn sites are all turned into Amazon now too. You've got the videos, but then there's like 10 other video recommendations down the bottom. Customers that jerked off to this, also like this video. Maybe I'll delve further into my sexual psyche here. Yeah, but the trouble is that most of it is just not sexy. You end up in these 10-hour voyages through the internet just trying to find something to come to, and it's not good. And now you've got the kind of backlash. There's a new wave of like kind of feminist pornography, which is like good in theory, but again, it's not sexy. There's a new Australian site, I Shot Myself, which is all like women, yeah, it's not a suicide fetish. It's women taking self-shots, basically. The idea of, you know, they take the shots and they're empowered and, okay, look at me and masturbate to this. But they've got this stupid rule where you're not allowed to use the self-timer on their camera. So all the pictures just have like one gigantic arm kind of staring at you, like it's like getting off to someone's Facebook photos, you know? And then you've got Suicide Girls, which is, again, it's hot in theory, like it's a... When I try to masturbate to it though, I'm just too distracted by having my preconceptions of beauty challenged so much. I'm like, skinny white chicks, but with piercings? Like, I can't get off to something that avant-garde. I think the only good pornography is porn that you really have shot yourself, you know? Like, ex-girlfriends, ex-lovers, you know, you take sex tape. There's nothing wrong with it. This is a healthy thing to do. But whenever you're getting off to like a video of an ex-girlfriend, there's always some like depressing reminder, like, oh, I remember when we lived in that flat, and oh, that's our song playing in the background, and Yeah, brings new meanings to the words tear-jerking. I think I'm going to leave it. Thanks so much.
How many people are we in now? And it took that long for a climaxing joke. You motherfucker. While I stew this off, I'll introduce the next speaker for the negative, Mr. Timothy Clark.
Yeah, away from.
He scares me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a sorry excuse for a team. Look who they've got. They've got a slut, an idiot, a cunt,
Fuck you.
an unfunny excuse for a comedian, and 3 men.
Be the slut.
You wish. That was a shot at Nadine. Did you mention flaps before?
What?
Never mind. I thought you had a good tie-in. Her flaps are so big it has a Yosemite Sam on them. Never mind. That's why I didn't do it. You also have others. Alan, a man so lonely his computer screen looks like New York at the end of Ghostbusters. That is a very, very good joke. Danny Stinson, I don't really know Danny that well, so I'm not going to make fun of him. I know it's tough on Danny. I know you have recently lost your job in the touring production of Annie. And finally, last but oh so very least, Ethan Addy, a man who wrote a Fringe Festival show about his own failures at sex. And much like his first time having sex, there was very few laughs, and a man walked out halfway through.
That's like a misquote. Stick around. Stick around after. You can hear all about it.
The only difference is
Sorry, I just thought.
the only difference between Ethan Addy and gonorrhea is if you fucked gonorrhea, you wouldn't get Ethan Addy. I'm done with you guys.
Debate time.
I got nothing. Like if Dean's a slut, lol, none. That's all I've done. Ladies and gentlemen, porn made me. It gave me confidence, okay? It gave me something to aspire to. When I was younger, porn was a lot like a Barack Obama video. Yes, we come. And people say things about porn. They say that it makes men objectify women, which is something that I don't agree with. I believe the gaping sluts in the front row will agree with me on this.
I'm gonna kill you.
That was actually your sister?
Yeah. I am going to.
I knew. It made me want to be a better person, you know. It gave me something to look up to, you know. It can be a little disconcerting to see those men in porn, you know. They have bodies that are literal weapons. My body is a Nerf gun. It's cheap, easy to break. Give it a couple pumps and it's done. Frequently found in the Kmart kids section. Guys, despite what I'm saying up here, I'm not really a sexual beast. Unless that beast is a sloth that taught itself how to wank. That is me, all over. I'm not very good with ladies, so which is why I love porn. It helps me be more confident. You know, I'm not confident with ladies. My pickup line is please. But it has helped me in relationships before. I think some people in couples here have acted out porn. Alright, thanks for your support, guys. It helped me before. I used to have an ex. You know, occasionally we did act out porn. Got little costumes involved as well. Occasionally I would wear a lab coat and a stethoscope, and I would pretend to be a doctor. And she got in the fun as well. She wore a little paper hat and a nurse's outfit, and she pretended to love me. So in summation, saying that pornography is ruining sex is like saying icing is ruining cupcakes. Sex and cupcakes, yes, they both sell well in St Kilda, but they are both a very fantastic little thing. And if you add something onto it, it's not ruining it. It's just taking that fantastic thing and just giving that little extra flavour that makes it so magical. It's just unfortunate that in both cases, that little extra flavour is a white glaze. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching me win this competition.
Welcome back from the roast of Ethan Natty. And any and all members of Ethan Natty's family. I'm glad I no longer have to stare at the back of your head. Which is what I continually keep saying. Now! I wanted to get one in. And finally, for the affirmative, their team captain, Mr. Ethan Addy!
Thank you. Now, Tim's a cunt. Is that the first C-bomb?
No, I got it. Always coming second.
In your mouth! So, it's really awkward hearing Tim talk about sex because he hasn't done it.
I'll tops that, yeah. Hey, Ethan, sister.
Good. That's a pretty good one. Fuck you up. Okay, so Nadine presented, porn is a representation, and it's a poor representation of what we should be doing in the bedroom. Morven is a bitch. For some reason she needs reminding when she needs to have sex. That's a medical issue. Fucking kind of porn is she watching? Denny came through with porn has opened your eyes to nothing good. I've got a bit on this. Don't you worry. Alan, he says masturbated. Probably don't burn my own team. He has trouble coming because of porn, and that's tragic. You know? That's really sad. You just come whenever you want. I'll do it here. Something straight guy stuff. I wasn't listening. And then we come back to, I've just got Tim as a cunt written everywhere. And a creep. Now, I do have to tell you a little story. Gay guys, like, we are, like, sexually liberated, like... apparently. Really fucked up shit going on. Because of porn, honestly, this wasn't happening in the 40s, alright? So we're getting thrown in jail and just having normal bum fun. Okay. Right, so I went on a date with a guy. And I went back to his house, and it became apparent that he worked in a video shop. And this video shop happened to sell a lot of pornography. Right, so I'm sitting on the couch with him, and he says, I'm just going to go have a shower. And it's like, cool, and he's like, put on anything you want. And there's like a whole bunch of porn, and I'm just like, oh, fucking awkward. Like, just like going through all the porn, and then I was like, Chicago! Because I didn't like where this was fucking going. Okay? He came back, and indeed, he wanted me to get into the shower with him to piss on him. That's my really strong finish. I do have like a future burn, so just one sec. I don't want them to see this, but when this guy comes on, I just want you to think this. Thank you. It says fuck you. Really bad finish, sorry. Lockball!
You're gay?
So hard to tell.
News to me. To finish off with the negative, we have a gentleman. That's all I can say about this man. I present to you Mr. Mitch Alexander.
Money shot, Mitch.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Bring it home. Gooey goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the arguments from both sides, and luckily for me, there's no live reply from those guys. So, well done on the future heckle. That was nice of you. Cut fast. We have Nadine coming up first, talking about the joys of gargling cum and a few other things. I forgot, was distracted. But she mentioned the joy of gargling cum. Imagine if we lived in a society where porn wasn't as readily available and Nadine would never know the joys of sperm burping. Think of all the millions of underprivileged women over the years that have never been able to know the joys of copping a load from a loving man. All of your mothers probably have never had the joy of their father unleashing what is nowadays affectionately known as a pop shot. We had Danny Stinson up next, and on the affirmative, which I thought was weird for someone who looks like a pedophile, he's rather prudish. He was talking about shizer porn for a small moment, and we all know that it's obviously his fetish. But he was talking about shizer porn as if it was a bad thing to have. Can you imagine, again, the thousands of people in a pre-porn society that weren't able to have their shizer porn and had to have a lot of awkward conversations and a lot of moving cities with prospective partners? Nowadays, they can have their shizer porn, they can have their lovely way.
Make a joke.
Your career.
Ethan the impatient man. Let's start on Ethan. I was going to say something about Alan, but he didn't say anything. Ethan! I'm not one to cast stereotypical aspersions on people. But as we can all see, Ethan Addy is a raging hipster. And as we all know, a hipster's conception of sex involves disinterestedly flailing about like a dying mackerel. What would this man know about sex?
More than you, sunshine.
Thank fuck for that. And I would say as well, Ethan, that pornography isn't ruining sex. God-awful mows are ruining sex. Ladies and gentlemen, pornography is not ruining sex. I'm going to make a sort of assumption here and guess that amongst all of the women here, all of you like to experience orgasm, much like men. Now, does anyone remember the cliche of men not being able to find the clitoris? Does anyone also think it's kind of funny that that cliche died off right around the time broadband became affordable? Don't complain. I'd also like to make a mention, statistically, bring the facts, bitch. But the rising rates of STIs and teen pregnancies would suggest that a lot of people are having a lot more enjoyable sex. Because we all know that wearing a condom is like having a raincoat in the shower. Now you might be able to say, Mitch, doesn't that mean that porn's having a negative effect on society? Possibly. But if we utilised porn properly, we could make sure that all the young men, before they go out, engage in the most desperately needed parachute wank that society needs. It's the wank you have before you go out to make sure you don't do someone stupid. Porn can be used for the good of mankind. Don't let these assholes tell you otherwise. Thank you.
You know, they got 4 cunts. I'm very, very proud of you. I'm so proud of you all. Now it falls to you. I'm going to ask for a round of applause. You're going to give a round of applause in order to determine which of these 2 teams has won this debate. When I show my hand, please applaud accordingly.
Yeah!
I'm going to go with the audience here. I'm going to go with the audience here. The negative wins! You win a grand prize of this cup. Share it amongst yourselves.
Ice back to the burn.
You win.
We've already won.
You win the joy of having heard Ethan Addy pronounce every word that comes out of his mouth, and the joy of Alan Driscoll saying the word masturbate. Shut up! Shut up! Thank you all so much for your patience. Thank you all so much for your perusal. I wish you a good night, and God help you all.
I'm sorry.